Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and we're joined by Adam Williams, who we last spoke to on video, I think over two and a half, almost 3 years ago. Man, time goes by. But we are in Amsterdam, currently in the Netherlands, and I'm on my way to Montenegro, and of course I had to stop in here. It was cheaper to stop here, and it's a beautiful city that I never got the chance to see. And I wanted to talk to you about something that I find interesting. I see you on Facebook a lot talking about the Netherlands and kind of pointing it out as it's more free place than a lot of places you've been. You're originally from the United States. So can you explain the concept of not just like Amsterdam, but the Netherlands as a more free place than, say, the United States?
Sure, Josh. Wonderful to be here with you and see you again, man. So I really look at anything with societies and cultures comes down to beliefs. You know, what we all learned during COVID, it really matters what the people around you believe, right? So in the Dutch culture and their traditions, the virtue that they appreciate most, if you ask a Dutch person, what virtue do Dutch people appreciate most and how they connect with each other? And they'll all say either blunt or honesty. And the Dutch really appreciate honesty. As long as you tell the truth, they'll work with you. If you're being deceptive or they don't like you at all. So the three kind of global beliefs they have that are very special: number one, they believe in personal responsibility. Everyone does their own work here. Number two, they believe in property rights. Okay, everyone has their own stuff. And number three, they believe in respect for others. Okay, there's lots of people here. So if you contrast that to kind of America, which right now, what do they believe? Entitlement for self or group. So you look at this is how that makes a society run. It's an impact. People are very statist here. There are definitely rule followers and look to government for you know what the marching orders are. But as I said before, in America, in contrast to the Dutch state and the American states, in the Dutch state they do the least amount of tyranny to maintain order. The American government extracts the most amount of pain before people revolt. So it's like the opposite sides of the spectrum. So those are some of the reasons why it's more free.
Well, and it's interesting. It's an interesting concept because, of course, a lot of people that haven't done a lot of travel to Europe or anywhere in general, and it's not an insult because a lot of people just have their own perceptions, but is that Europe is falling and everything's falling apart. And to a degree, in some places, that might be true. However, there's a bigger, broader issue that we see behind. Well, look at the history we got behind us. It's absolutely amazing. You know, there's a lot to be said about, well, in the United States, everyone has guns, but they hardly ever use them when it actually does come down to issues of tyranny. And then here you see protests, and they're like beating the cops over the head with clubs, opposed to the other way around, while people who have the guns just sit there and go, that's pretty bad. One of those days when they shoot, we'll do something. So, I mean, it's an interesting concept, and with the coronavirus issue, that's something we have to talk about because that really did show in true light what every country in the world is really like, and there's statism in every country. There's no escaping that. But here there seems to be a mix. So first of all, the health minister here has said on multiple occasions that masks are stupid, though the government says that we need to have masks. But I walk around here and it seems to be pretty much up to the individual to decide. How was the whole coronavirus shutdown for you in the Netherlands?
Well, it was really crazy. I was working on a startup last year, took a break from teaching and coaching, and that dissolved at the beginning of Corona, so I was home for a bit, but I just never wanted to be home. So I never believed in this from the beginning. I got posts from March saying this is nonsense, you guys will see it later, you don't see it now. And fortunately I had the beach, Scheveningen beach. Actually, that's how I used to test the Germans during the war, because they'd try to get them to pronounce this word, Scheveningen. So the Germans can't pronounce that correctly, so they knew that you're Kraut. Anyway, so went to the beach and made a community, figured out where I could have some human interaction. You know, it was super crazy, man. Everything closed. The Dutch now, the pragmatic, practical Dutchman, I think now sees this as a very poorly executed plan and is over it. That's the feeling, but they're still putting out new recommendations and guidelines. Even now, a couple days ago in Den Haag, they are making it voluntary, and that's again a lot of stuff here. They try to make it voluntary, you know, which is good. And they say that the store can refuse you if you don't wear a mask. But I went to the grocery store, and it was so surreal. I've been seeing all my American friends for months posting went to the grocery store stories and all the stuff, interactions and the friends.
David Rodriguez.
Yeah, David Rodriguez, champion, Karen Keener, all these people of their escapades. And then I finally had one because all of a sudden, like a light switch, about 70% of the people in the store had a mask on in October after all this. And just because the government said that's what to do. I walked around to the store and I was talking to the people that didn't have masks on. And I said, do you guys think if they said you have to jump off a fucking bridge for public safety that a lot of these people would do it? And some guys said, yeah, a bunch of them would. But fortunately, it's still voluntary for now.
Yeah, and they say it's a mandate, and I had one cab driver that said everyone needs to start wearing one. And what is this? Everyone believes in masks here. Then I walk around and it's like no one working at the businesses. Every now and then you see it, but like it's like the big businesses like McDonald's or Starbucks, which I wouldn't go to anyway. But you look in there and the people behind the counter are wearing masks. But everywhere else, all the family-owned businesses, all the grocery stores, no one. And so, but here's the thing. Here's the opposite issue: is that when I walk around here, I do see a lot of yellow paint on the sidewalks that say you must keep this far away from each other.
Meter Afstand.
It's totally ridiculous. Everywhere you look, it's like we must stay this far away from each other, and it's like it feels like hand holding. It feels like mommy and daddy government thinks that we can't take care of ourselves, so they have to tell us how to wash our hands for how long, how to dress, all that kind of stuff. And you know what's really ironic is there's a bunch of patches for standing in front of Anne Frank's house. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember this whole thing called the Nazi Germany. There's a thing called the Nazis that existed at one point, and they still exist to a small degree today. And you go to Anne Frank's house and the government's telling you where you can or cannot stand. I can't help but think there's something a little ironic there. And then you also have, and let's get into the speech issue, Adam, is that the issue of free speech. Geert Wilders or Wilders, I always Geert. I'm part Dutch myself. I can't get it, but he's gone to jail and been charged for speaking, and regardless of what you think of what he says, I mean, there definitely does seem to be a free speech issue in the Netherlands. Can you kind of correct me if I'm wrong and go into that?
Yeah, I think that really just exists maybe in some media stuff and kind of people at a certain level. I know in France it's even worse and things like that. Here, I'm not worried at all about someone coming to my house because of Facebook posts, but they do that in America and other countries, things like that. So I feel like it's pretty much fine. I really haven't experienced much kind of free speech issues. I feel like I can do and say what I want here as long as I don't hurt anybody else. So hasn't really been my experience. Not too much.
Well, that's definitely good to hear. It's a very interesting place. I haven't spent enough time here to give my own diagnostics, but I've been all over Europe, and you hear a lot of things in the media, and then you see something completely different. Sure. Of all the European countries that you've been to, do you think that the Netherlands is probably one of the most livable, free places?
Cool, excellent question. So I've been in 42 countries on vacation and lived in 4. Je parle français couramment. J'ai passé 2 étés en France et j'ai étudié le français depuis 10 ans. Lived there for 2 summers, lived in Australia for 2 summers, and then I've been here for 4.5 years. So the Netherlands is the highest consciousness, first world, heterogeneous society. Do you know what heterogeneous means? What's heterogeneous mean?
Go for it.
Okay, so homogeneous is like Iceland or Japan or Poland, and heterogeneous is like Netherlands or America. So again, highest consciousness, first world heterogeneous society. I said that to like 300 people. No one can give me a better example. So Netherlands is really amazing because of the beliefs, like I said, and the openness and their history. It's not a warlike place where they are conquest people. Age of Enlightenment, 1700s, Amsterdam, that was trade, right, and things like that. And they were in the slave trade for sure, but not so much the worst. Anyway, so top 2 first world countries in Europe are Sweden and Netherlands. Sweden had no lockdown, of course. And then I'm interested to learn more about, your Montenegro and Serbia and these places, but Hungary and Poland, I feel really good about and hear great things. And one of my friends who, I just left, I feel like I left this huge police state in America to come here, and this is Shangri-La, and she feels the same way about Hungary versus this place. So there's just different stuff in first world and second world countries. Do you know the definition of second world? Most people don't know that.
Well, I would say it's a cross between the first and the third. So for example, there's first world in Mexico where I lived for a while. There's also second world and third world. The second world is kind of in between alleyways where, it's more poor but not as poor, and, people are still have their cell phones, but they're also, cutting off chickens' heads to eat.
It's really easy to see what are the first world countries when you go to the airport. All of the first world countries are the ones where you can enter here. And there's 5 first world Asian countries: Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, Hong Kong, and Japan. We see their flags there. The EU, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, America. And then third world, developing. Second world definition is communist or ex-communist. So that's definition of second world.
Well, I'm going right over there actually right away. Old Yugoslavia has dealt with a few things in the past. And in fact, only 25 years ago, it was 21 years ago, Clinton was bombing Albania and the Montenegro region. So I'll find out for myself whether people are, and this is the thing. You have these places that were formerly fascist, other places that are formerly communist, and you have this degree of skepticism of government in all those places. Yes. Unfortunately, obviously, the Netherlands has faced monarchy, fascism, a whole bunch of things in the past. They also have it's in one way it's very leftist, and then in another way it's very voluntary, kind of self-reliant kind of stuff.
Another way to say that is it's very statist, but it's also free market. That's the same way to say what you just said.
Well, and for example, Adam, you look down these streets and there's a ton of competing small businesses and restaurants. I don't know how you can have 8 cafes in a row, all family owned, and somehow compete without going out of business, but they do it somehow. And you still see the McDonald's and you see the corporatist stuff, but it definitely seems like there's more of a free market here.
There's a balance, yeah, exactly. Like corporate tax rates are like 21%, so that's not the craziest. The taxes are pretty high here if you're just a regular Dutch person. That's why it's good to be an expat and figure out how to, Rochambeau it a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I guess we look at long term, the Dutch are going to have issues with the socialism that they have in their place. All these Western governments are bankrupt and insolvent, and you look at them long term. You know the website World Debt Clock?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting website. I've studied it for the last few years, and it was interesting. In the top 15, there used to be only 2 countries that were paying down their debt. Everyone else is spiraling, spiraling red, and it was the Germans and the Dutch, which are very fiscally conservative, which is again that more free market kind of thing. But after coronavirus, I looked at the website again, and now all of these countries, because they're all blowing up their budgets with this corona, did you see 22% of the US dollars ever created have been created this year? Like 9 trillion. It's a banana republic, but.
And then people call Europe communist. As we wrap this up, it is starting to rain, and here it's very unpredictable. One second it's warm, the other second it's cold, the next second it's sunny, the next second it's raining. It's crazy. But with that said, we are seeing a lot of places. I've seen a lot of stickers just walking around today that say EU equals fascism. So a lot of people, the Nexit movement is growing here as well, like the Netherlands exit. And I think there's definitely a lot of good signs. So I'm going to have to come back here in my nomadic travels soon. I really appreciate you talking with us. As we close this off, can you tell people where they can find more of your stuff?
Sure. Well, speaking of good things, so in the world, I'm the king of youthful energy. I'll say it again, I'm the king of youthful energy. Show me the other guy who's 42 years old, looks younger than me, and has
my girlfriend just guessed his age at about 26.
In his spirit and body. I'll wait. No, everyone agrees, no one disagrees, so that's me, I'm the king.
Oh, he's getting undressed.
So I'm an online strength and healing coach. I help athletes and folks struggling with injury and or discouragement to create their best body through strength training and natural regimens. Got clients all over the world, building that business up. I love it. And I'm also 16 days away from the European Championship in all-natural bodybuilding to win my first gold medal on 3 keer is scheepsrecht, which means 3rd time's the charm. I got 2 silver medals. So you can find me on Facebook, Adam space N period space Williams, or on Instagram at Adam N Williams, and look forward to hearing from you guys. We had to do a quick 25-minute call and get you moving so you can get your gains.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you joining us today. I wish you luck in your tournament, and good luck to you. Hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it, man.
My friends, it is go time. We are completely demonetized on YouTube, and we depend on the viewer to stay alive and spread the message of freedom and truth. So check those links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar, anything you guys could do to help keep independent media alive helps enormously in helping spread this message to the masses. So make sure to check those links. Donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen or below. We really appreciate anything you could do to keep us alive. You could check those links below for Cointree as well, where you can find other cryptocurrencies charities that you can donate and keep WAM alive. Find us on flote.app, flote.app, as well as BitChute and LBRY and Minds. We're on all the other platforms. We are leaving YouTube soon, so make sure to find us at those sites, because it's the only way we can keep talking to you, the masses, the great people that actually care about the future of free humanity. Also, join our new newsletter at www.iamband.com. Anything helps at this point, guys. We need to support free information online. This is the most difficult time in our history, and it takes a lot of hard work to keep our message alive in the face of great evils that have taken over the propaganda news on television as well as on YouTube, where YouTube decides what you can or cannot see. We need your help, my friends. So I really appreciate anything you guys can do. Check those links. There's many ways you can help. Until next time, though, thanks, everyone. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.